Hello, BookTube. It's a beautiful, gorgeous Saturday, just lovely. We're in a stretch of weather here in Boston where the days are pleasantly warm. They aren't enough for me. I have now reached the point where I am always cold, so I want the weather to be in the triple digits Fahrenheit, and it's not today. Instead, this stretch of days, I recognize I may not prefer it, but I recognize it as being objectively perfect. Everything is in bloom. There's blue skies with fluffy white clouds and flat bottoms. The day at its peak gets nice and warm. If you're working in the garden, if you're out walking with your dog, you're going to feel nice and warm. But it's easy to cool off, and the nights are symphonies, just gorgeous symphonies, which is very comforting for me at the present moment because, as I alluded yesterday, there is a thing coming my way in my life. I'm not 100% sure of it, but I'm about 98% sure that a great sliding wodge of work is coming my way. And it's going to follow a pattern that such work has followed in my life for decades, for a very, very long time, which is that I'm going to refuse to be paid for it, but it is going to have a deadline. And I'm going to take it seriously, more seriously than the person who originally took it on, and it's going to require time. I don't know yet how much. I don't know how much it's going to pull from the well springs of the rest of my life. I'm hoping it doesn't affect my conversations with my imaginary BookTube friends. I kind of need that relief valve in any day. But we shall see. I need the pretty day, and I have mail. I don't have much mail. Saturdays are always weird. The ordinary driver on the routes that drop off mail, they're all gone. It's weekend people who are in, and they pick their own times, and sometimes make mistakes and drop off my mail at some other house. Luckily we all know each other, so I can ask, or people will know. They don't know me, but they say, they look at the address and they say, "Oh, that's Frida's house." They don't know me, and they don't care about me. On our walks today, Frida was just running up to other human beings and just jumping up on them, smiling up at them, insisting, screaming her head off at them to pet her and fuss over her. This is the friendliest dog I've ever had in my life. It's amazing. And it's lucky that she's I mean, my Basset Hound Lucy was very friendly, but she was also slow and didn't always make it clear what she wanted. She would just sort of trundle up to you and ooze all around you like a cloying fog. Whereas Frida is not only the friendliest dog I've ever had, but she's the cutest dog I've ever had. So people just fall in love with her right away. But what I'm meaning to say is that the mail deliveries here are a little odd. It could be that more mail is coming. For instance, no actual walking around the person with the bag on their shoulder. That mail hasn't come. And that should long since be here. The magazines and the letters and the bills and whatnot. That hasn't come. That may arrive later. And there are other deliveries. But I do have one thing. It's big. It's big and heavy. Too heavy for any book that's coming out. Any one book that's coming out for the rest of the year. We're halfway through the year. I'm studiously studying the fall and winter catalogs for all of the publishers, big and small. And there are some big books coming out, very much so. Some of them I'm very excited about, but nothing this heavy. This has to be multiple books. It's from Penguin Random House, and there's only one thing from them that I want. There are many things from them that I want. I look at forthcoming lists and just love them. I love doing that. I love thinking about these things and pondering the fact that the publishing world is constantly bubbling up with new ideas. It's constantly bubbling up with old ideas as well. Plenty of treads are retread every publishing season. But there's always new stuff that I can't predict. And so, it's like a parent with their children. You're not supposed to love any one of them more than any other. And I try to be that way. But there's one set of things that I so much want. And it is actually under the large corporate heading of Penguin Random House. But I don't think this will be that. I think it's too early for those. But this has to be multiple books, is what I'm saying. So let's rip this open and see what we have. It's going to be the easiest way to do this. It is the very... Oh, oh, oh. It's it's Penguin Classics, but they're comic books. Oh, oh, oh. Let's take a look at what we have, shall we? Oh my. Penguin Black Spine Classics of Marvel comic books. So, the first one is Spider-Man. Oh, make sure not to block the beam. This is Spider-Man. These are oversized. I wish I had a Penguin Mass Market that I could show you. But these are oversized. These are bigger things. I did not know what they were going to look like. Look at that. Black Spine Penguin Classic, The Amazing Spider-Man. With exclamation points for Lee and Ditko. Fantastic. Uh, Marvel decided to do this. It's an inspired idea. Absolutely inspired. I didn't know what this was going to look like. Oh my, the webbing on Spider-Man's costume is slightly embossed. This is the cover, part of the cover of Amazing Fantasy, where Spider-Man made his debut. This doesn't have a pub sheet, but it does have lots and lots of stuff. Look at this, even reprinting letters. Imagine having your letter reprinted in a Penguin Classic. I wonder if one of mine is. I don't think so, but what if? Oh my, I'll have to check on that. Oh, okay, so this is, Penguin Classics has decided to reprint Marvel Comics in full color. They must be taking this from the big Marvel anthologies, the big Marvel omnibus editions, because the other Marvel reprint volumes for Spider-Man don't include all of this ancillary material. Personal message from Spider-Man. I think didn't I see another letters column? Maybe there's more than one letters column in here? Yeah. Yeah, this must be taken from the Amazing Spider-Man Omnibus. It simply must be. Because it has all sorts of extra material. It has footnotes. Oh, God, I have waited so long for this day. And it has an introduction. It has there are letters columns all throughout here. As soon as the magazine started getting letters columns. Incredible. Incredible. Okay, well, let's read about it, shall we? It is impossible to imagine American culture without Marvel Comics. That is the simple line that starts the back of this book. For decades, Marvel has published groundbreaking visual narratives that sustain attention on multiple levels, as metaphors for the experience of difference and otherness, as meditations on the fluid nature of identity, and as high watermarks in an artistic tradition of American cartooning, to name a few. Okay, otherness and fluid identity were the first two. Okay, but we got in a third one, which is about artistic tradition. This anthology contains 12 key stories from the first 2 years of Spider-Man publication history, from 1962 to 1964. These influential adventures not only transformed the superhero fantasy into an allegory for the pain of adolescence, but also brought a new ethical complexity to the genre, by insisting that with great power must also come great responsibility. This has a foreword by Jason Reynolds and scholarly introductions and apparatus by Ben Saunders. Incredible. So there is a critical apparatus to this thing, and there is an introduction that is fairly lengthy. And I got the e-copies of these things from the publisher months ago, and read the introductions. The introductions were the only thing that I did. I wasn't going to bother trying to savor the artwork in a digital copy. And the introductions pay you the compliment of being thorough and intelligent. They aren't just whiz bang kapow. They aren't anything like that. They're analyzing these things. So what do we have here? Amazing Fantasy 15, of course. Then Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And the annual number 1, 17, 18, 19. And then a couple of appendices that were originally published when Spider-Man was first being a hit for Marvel. Oh, amazing. Oh, just amazing. A little Steve Ditko artwork there thrown in, non-Spider-Man related. just what is this for? Is this just to give you? Yeah, this is just just thrown in to give you a taste of Steve Ditko's artwork. That's odd. Why would you do that? And then an additional story. I don't remember exactly where this thing first saw the light of day, how Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created Spider-Man, where they sort of spoof themselves. A Spider-Man volume from Penguin Classic. Incredible. My Penguin Classic bookcase. Never expected that it would see this. Never in a million years. Then the next volume is the Black Panther. Also in a Penguin black spine paperback. How incredible. How incredible. So what do we have for this one? Again, okay, they repeat the first paragraph. It's impossible to imagine American culture without Marvel Comics. And they go, it's the same paragraph with the difference in otherness, the fluid nature of identity, but also high watermarks in the artistic tradition of American cartooning. Then we get a paragraph devoted to the Black Panther. The Black Panther is not just a superhero. As King T'Challa, he is also the monarch of the hidden African nation of Wakanda. Combining the strength and stealth of his namesake with a creative scientific intelligence, the Black Panther is an icon of Afrofuturist fantasy. This new anthology includes Black Panther's 1966 origin tale and the entirety of the critically acclaimed Panther's Rage storyline from his 1970s solo series, which Panther's Rage, Michael K. Vaughan and I covered that when we did one of our Wednesday comic entries on the Black Panther. If I remember, I'll leave a link to it down below. This has a foreword by Nnedia Okorafor and scholarly introduction and apparatus by Kiana J. Whitted. Again, the general series introduction is by Ben Saunders. So you're getting the full scholarly apparatus here. You're getting someone's writing the introduction to each of these things, but also there's a general series introduction. Incredible. Boy, I hope Penguin keeps doing this. I really do. So this has original plot breakdowns, facsimiles of original plot breakdowns for the Panther's Rage issues involved here. It has the distinctive, let's just put it that way. It has the distinctive Billy Graham artwork. Not that Billy Graham. There's an artist by that, and these covers. I think some of these are by Rich Buckler. That were part of this run. It was Jungle Action, featuring the Black Panther, and you get the whole run of that, but this thing is big, so you must get more than that. Wow, okay, well, you've got these great Gil Kane covers, no matter what Klaus Janson can do to just screw them up. You've got Rich Buckler covers, you've got this very distinctive internal artwork. We went through these, Michael and I did, for that read-along, but I will go through this again, absolutely. And before you get to those, you have the Black Panther's introductory story, his origin story in the Fantastic Four, where he first fights the Fantastic Four and then teams up with them, and you have a long introduction. Incredible. So this has the whole of the run of the Doug Moench Jungle Action. The Don McGregor Jungle Action. This has Fantastic Four 52 and 53, and then Jungle Action 6 through 21. Wow. Incredible. And then the final volume of these three, I pray to Crom and Mitra that there will be 3 more of these volumes. I pray. It's a little bit wrong that the first of these first 3 volumes was not the Fantastic Four. That is a little bit wrong. I'm assuming there was a heated argument somewhere in the Penguin offices or the Marvel offices or whatever. You can't leave Spider-Man out. And maybe you can't leave Captain America out, and maybe the discussion was, well, you can't have Spider-Man and Captain America. The Black Panther just made $1 billion at the box office. I guess I could see that. I could probably see that argument going either way. But really, however you do it, a spot should have been found in these first 3 for the one that started it all, for the Marvel comic book that started it all, for the Fantastic Four. But instead, they went with Captain America for the 3rd volume. It's Jack Kirby cover. So you've got this is Rich Buckler, I believe, for this cover. You've got Steve Ditko for this cover. And you've got Jack Kirby for this cover, which, you know, is only fitting. It's only fitting. And this is, okay, so we get the introductory chapter again. Then we get, drawing upon multiple comic book series, this collection includes Captain America's very first appearance from 1941, alongside key examples of his first solo stories of the 1960s, in which Steve Rogers, newly resurrected hero of World War II, searches for his place in a new and unfamiliar world. As the contents reveal, the transformations of this American icon thus mark parallel transformations in the nation itself. And this one has a foreword by Jean Lun Yang, and the introduction and apparatus are again by Ben Saunders. So what are the... it has notes, resources in the back. Can you believe that? This is just incredible. Resources for students and scholars. Amazing. Just amazing. Oh my God. This has the original sequence in Avengers number 4 where they find Captain America's body and realize that he's not dead, that he's alive again. I wonder if this will reprint. Oh, it has, oh God, Michael K. Vaughan will be happy. It has this wretched Jim Steranko artwork. Don't know what they're doing there. Maybe the Watusi. But I wonder if this will reprint. I guess they're not going to reprint the whole. Oh, wow, this has letters as well. They must have drawn these just straight from the plates of the big anthology volumes. Am I wrong about that? I mean, the Marvel Masterworks volumes that reprint these volumes in full color don't include any of the house ads. They don't include any of the extras, like how Stan and Steve invented Spider-Man. And they don't include the letters. It's only the big $120 hardcover anthologies that include the letters. So these must have been drawn from those. So you've got those original that original appearance by Captain America, but you've also got key here these are from Tales of Suspense, right? These are Jack Kirby had a run on Tales of Suspense that was amazing, just amazing, where he revisited Jack Kirby and Joe Simon invented Captain America, and Kirby got a little help from John Romita Sr., from an old World War II artist named George Tuska, and a couple of others, but he mainly did great work himself. I want to show you some of these great panels where he... yes, there's a brainwashed Captain America meeting Hitler at the behest of the Red Skull. There's also a great sequence here. See, these are the covers. He shared these issues with Iron Man. The Iron Man stories aren't anything to write home about, and the Cap stories are amazing. They're amazingly good. Look at the panel work here by Jack Kirby. Just amazing. Just amazing. All done in color here. All just perfectly reprinted. This also has the great retelling of Captain America's origin story that Jack Kirby did for Tales of Suspense, where he bursts onto the world, where he's transformed from sickly Steve Rogers into a one-man fighting army. An origin sequence that is now familiar to lots and lots of people because of the Captain America movie. But I wonder if this will... Oh, okay, great. I was going to say, I wonder if this will reprint any actual 1940s adventures, and it does. It does. So this will still be Jack Kirby artwork, but it was literally when he was learning how to do his job. We didn't know how to do his job yet. Past the introduction, what does this have in it? Captain America Comics #1 from 1941. Then Tales of Suspense 59, 63, 64, 65, all the way to 75, then 76, 77. So they bounce around. They give you all of Tales of Suspense that had Captain America in them. Sometimes they didn't. And then a couple of issues from Captain America in the 1960s. Those are the Jim Steranko things that we saw. And then some appendix reading, including a prose afterwards by Steranko that I don't think I've ever read. Who knows where it was originally performed. Who knows? This is from 2010. I wonder what reprint volume that was. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Okay, so it was a mail haul to end all mail hauls. So it's Marvel Comics in Penguin Classics. That is just amazing. I will find a proud place on my shelf, but first I'm going to write about them. Oh my God, am I ever? I just want to find out the dates on them. I know they're June releases. Maybe they aren't already. But this is Penguin is doing these in two different formats. If I remember correctly, they're doing them in two different formats. You've got these Black Spine Penguin Classics, which are the thing I want. But I think there are hardcover editions that are even nicer, that are and more durable. These are just paperbacks. I'm pretty sure those exist as well. It could be that those aren't going to reviewers. Maybe they're just going to comic book shops. I know they'll be instantly collectible. I'm not sure how collectible these things will be, but those will be instantly collectible, those special hardcover editions. With covers that are monochrome. I think you get the illustration, but I think it's like the Spider-Man cover is all red with these embossed, with the lines embossed in gold. Captain America, I think, is all blue. But I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I don't expect to be getting those. These are fine by me. How incredible! Now, my joy here is independent of the fact that these original Spider-Man issues, these have been reprinted a million times. Little mass market paperbacks back in the 70s. I had all of those and read them until they fell apart, read them until their spines cracked. The Marvel Essentials, the Marvel Masterwork editions, the paperbacks of the Marvel Masterwork editions, the Marvel Epic collections. I've reread these same stories a million times, and that's nothing compared to how many times I've read these. Oh my God. These I could quote you chapter and verse of what happens in these adventures, except for the 3 issues with art by Jim Steranko. But that classic run on Tales of Suspense with Jack Kirby, it's been reprinted a million times, and I've reread them every single time. The Black Panther stuff I'm not quite so familiar with. I read these issues when they were coming out. These look at this. See, there's Killmonger. These great Jungle Action issues. I didn't buy them myself, but I had a friend who did, so I would read them. I was attracted to them by the Gil Kane covers, and by the strange innovation of sort of drawing a narrative through line through many issues instead of just one, where you end one issue with a cliffhanger and then you wrap it up in the next issue. This Don McGregor did something a little different with that. I wasn't all that happy with it, and of course I read the Black Panther's introduction to the Fantastic Four. I was never missing an issue of the Fantastic Four when that happened. But as a result, I read those issues sort of, non-committally when they first came out. I was reading them at the house of a friend. And then I reread them all for the read-along that I did with Michael K. Vaughan. So maybe it's time to read these again. I'd say certainly if I'm getting a Penguin Classic of them. Fantastic. Okay, well, that's the mail haul. It doesn't get any better than that. Here's hoping that if Marvel decides to do this again, this can't be cheap, doing these things. I can't convey to you how heavy they are, but it's all color paper. That can't be cheap to do. But it's lovingly done. They didn't just slap these together. They added all sorts of ancillary stuff, and that's great. If they decide to do another 3, it would be great if they could do the Fantastic Four and Thor and the X-Men. That would be great for the next 3, or maybe Doctor Strange instead of Thor, since Thor's early appearances are nothing to write home about. Oh boy, all right. Steve is happy. Very, very happy. So I'm going to wrap this up. I've got toys to play with. But I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.